Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and as you can see, we are actually in J101441. It's a C2 wormhole that spawned an entrance into our wormhole, and since ours was just filled with gas, I'm not sure what Bob is trying to tell me there, but we've had an unusually high amount of gas sites in our wormhole lately. We decided to take a look at this wormhole. There were a lot of combat anomalies, so I jumped in my prophecy, Katsu jumped in a myrmidon, and we decided to give these sites a try. It was quite an interesting learning experience. We are not optimally fit. I do think that micro warp drives are actually not the best fit when the tank does get tested sometimes in these sites. Of course, we also try to keep a close eye on the D-scan. But here we go, one prophecy and one myrmidon against a combat anomaly in a C2 wormhole. It's called a perimeter checkpoint, and we start with 2 serious batteries, 3 medium drones and sleeper drones, and 2 small ones. So the serious batteries are a lot of DPS, so we try to get rid of those first, and after that it's about targets of opportunities when it comes to like the small guys, because they can whip and nude sometimes. They can be a little bit annoying. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that Katsu is the primary right here, so you can see him being in armor already, making maybe a little bit of a pilot error here, not keeping his orbit all that well, but his myrmidon is blaster fit, so he actually does need to get pretty close. And while we target the second series battery, which is pretty far away, I mean 50 kilometers from the previous one, we try to take out a few of these small drones. My hammerheads get targeted, so I have to pull one back, and I'm now down to 4 hammerheads trying to do the job. Quick burst of the micro warp drive. Yeah, there's just a little bit more management to be done in a C2 site with just 2 battle cruisers. Obviously we can't take the space potatoes through the wormhole out of the C1, so we're actually forced to get into these battle cruisers and try to do the sites this way. Serious battery coming in range, so I'm starting to fire my missiles and sending some drones at it. So there we go, that's actually starting to be okay. Katsu, as you can see, he did sprint for that serious battery just to be able to apply his blaster DPS. I'm honestly not sure if that's the best choice, because it is draining on his cap, and he's actually in a dual rep myrmidon, so he's got to be a little bit careful. I break out one hobgoblin to try and take care of that emergent patroller, but that serious battery is finally going down. You can also here see a very cool look, I feel, of the sleeper station, or whatever it is right here, the sleeper outpost or checkpoint. These structures look pretty cool. With the new rendering system, you can really see the power conduits run through all of them quite nicely. I think graphically these sleepers, yeah, they have their own unique style, and I really do enjoy it. In the meantime, we are working on those small drones, so that's the first one down. Again, one of my hammerheads gets targeted, and I'm gonna have to pull that one back pretty soon. But I do go after that emergent patroller. And once we're together and with all our drones, we can do some pretty decent DPS. I also dropped the loot, so the mobile tractor unit obviously, and here I am pretty close to one of those sleeper cruisers. That's actually a pretty cool sight. That small one drops down, and I finally pulled back that one hammerhead, and I'm back out with 2 hobgoblins and 3 hammerheads now. So here we go, some good damage on that sleeper. The target painters are helping. They are helping increase our DPS a little bit. Both of us have target painters fit, but you can see that Katsu has really been the main target together with a few of my drones, and his tank is being tested pretty decently. So we actually decide to split the DPS here and just try and do this decently slowly, just so that he has some time to recuperate a little bit of cap. So that is something that we notice here right away as well. With just 2 battle cruisers, you've got less DPS, you've got less tank, you've got less cap, and so you have to pace yourself a little bit. And it is definitely going to take a much longer time to do a site here in a C2 with these two battlecruisers compared to the sites that we run in our own C1 wormholes with 1 or 2 battleships. That's just a lot faster because there is more incoming DPS, there's more targets, there's also more traveling. These sites often have ranges of like 50 and 70 kilometers in between batteries, and if you don't have the ability to just break out 5 sentry drones and blab them from your warpin, yeah, it's just gonna take quite a bit longer to chew through all of the sleepers that come in these anomalies. So here we go, we are working on the final sleeper. Katsu's cap should have been able to recover a bit from this, and we're decently lucky on the next spawn. It's only 4 cruiser-sized sleepers, so that's actually quite doable. The awakened escorts, I think, are pretty much the same as what we get in a C1 wormhole, and so they have less tank than those awakened patrollers. I am finally getting targeted by the sleepers for I think the first time in this site here. I'm finally taking some shield damage. I want to do a little bit of approaching with one burst of the micro updrive before I break out my drones, and this time I decide to go with 2 ogres, 2 hammerheads, and then 1 hobgoblin, which is the most deep drone DPS I can get out of this prophecy, and I put those on the first awakened patroller, try to break the heavier tank first. You can also see that it's actually been a while since I've flown this prophecy, because some of the drones there actually already have some armor damage, so that's not all that great. I have to use the armor rep at this point, but here again this takes more traveling time, this takes more time for us to take care of a spawn like this. And unfortunately I also don't pay too close attention to my ogre being shot right there. So he's in structure already, you can see him right there all the way at the bottom of the screen, and it's only now that I notice it. So I try to pull him back, but blap, there it goes. That's an ogre down, that's some extra cost coming from this side. So I decide to go for another hammerhead, add that in the mix, and again back on the awakened patroller. My other ogre also gets shot at, so I need to pull him back as well. But in the meantime, Katsu is also coming in range, and when they split the DPS like that, these sleepers, it is decently manageable, you know. I have time to get my cap back and do my repping. Katsuko needs to do a little bit of repping, but as you can see, it's still quite manageable for him at this point. But here comes the final spawn, and this is where we actually get a sleeper battleship, which is of course quite a bit tougher to do. And there's actually the tractor beam passing through my view screen right there. We decide to first go after the awakened escorts. They should actually be killed decently fast. They don't have as much tank as the previous 2 cruiser-sized hulls. And yeah, it's a bit of a mistake, of course. It's been quite a while since we've done anything in a C2, and so it's the other guys that are the triggers. It would have been more efficient to first take care of these escorts and only then go after the patrollers, but here we are here to learn as well, of course, and try to get some money out of it. I need to rep pretty decently, because both the small sleepers and the battleship is targeting me, and as you can see, the DPS is not exactly negligible, but we are finally getting on top of those escorts, and then we'll be able to start working on the final wave right here. So Katsu is actually at 11 kilometers, 13 from me. Yep, here we go. The small sleeper drones have already caught up to me. They are now heading straight for the Myrmidon. Actually, they're leaving me behind and going straight for the Myrmidon. One of my hammerheads is being attacked, which is a bad thing because my hammerhead is being attacked and I need to pull it back, but it's also a good thing because it's a little bit DPS that's drawn away from my ship. But yeah, for the people that are wondering, you know, how does he keep the sleepers from attacking his drones when you see me do a sight in the C1 with with the Dominics. As you can see right here, they do go after my drones as well, but I do think that there's a decent correlation between the size of the sleepers and the size of drones that they will attack. So the small drones are actually not very likely to attack large drones, but are pretty likely to attack small drones. And that's why here you do see my hammerheads being attacked pretty often. My ogres, for some reason, yeah, a couple of cruisers went after those as well. But it is something that I have noticed, that my sentry drones are rarely being attacked by the small drones. And now here at the end, finally, it's only the battleship left. So, oh, I actually break out 1 ogre 2 and 4 hammerheads. I didn't know that that was possible. So that's actually more, no, that's actually less DPS. Yeah, there we go. That's actually less DPS than 2 ogres, 2 hammerheads, and 1 hobgoblin. And here we go, Sleepless Patroller, the one final tank there that we need to break. It looks pretty cool, of course, one of these battleships. A decent chance for some very high number of nano ribbons for a single wreck. You do want salvaging drone operations at 5 if you want to be able to salvage a wreck like that. Otherwise, you just won't do it. And Katsu is actually going in. He wants to have his blaster DPS work on that Sleepless Patroller as well. But here you can see that the DPS of one of these battleships is not something you have to underestimate. He's at half armor and he's gonna have to pull out all the stops. And while he was on comms, he actually said that his capacitor was getting dangerously low. It's a double rep Myrmidon, so this is pretty tricky. It is also not something that I would advise trying in a Tech 2 cruiser or a Tech 1 cruiser. You want either a battle cruiser or a Tech 3 cruiser, because these battleships can do a lot of damage. The neuting from C2 sites is also not negligible. A capacitor from a cruiser can get neuted out. This is far more risky. This is also far more challenging than the combat anomalies in a C1 wormhole. But in the end, we're actually pretty damn happy that we went out here and gave it a try. Of course, the fact that we didn't get ganked by any of the local residents is going to add to that. But we are trying to break this final battleship, and we're already 12 minutes into the site. So it's a lot slower, it's also a lot less efficient than being able to bring our full space potato firepower on the sleepers here. We have to take our time. We actually have to be a little bit more careful. You can see right there, probably only a quarter armor left for Katsu's Myrmidon, while the battleship is finally going into structure. So we gotta be a little careful. I run out of missiles as well, and so I gotta reload, and boom, there it goes in a final nice explosion. So, yep, there you go, guys. A C2 anomaly, not something we've done that often, but when there's nothing else to do in the wormhole, it's actually a pretty good idea. The loot in the end was not bad either. You actually get a decent amount of blue loot, I think 50% more from these combat anomalies compared to the C1 wormhole. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.